Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Jeff sent me notes, and Steve, check out the story from the Associated Press. And it's interesting on two different levels. One is a man settled a lawsuit, and that's interesting. But what the fight is over is even more interesting. So New York PD officer lands $175,000 settlement over courtesy cards that help drivers get out of traffic stops. Philip Marcello wrote this. A New York City police officer has reached a $175,000 settlement with the city in a lawsuit that illuminated the use of the courtesy cards that officers hand out to friends and relatives to help them get out of traffic stops and other minor infractions, according to an agreement filed in Manhattan Federal District Court Monday. So the man settled his lawsuit. We'll talk about that in a second. But underlying it is the courtesy cards. The courtesy cards. So if you know an NYPD officer and they give you a courtesy card, you carry it with you, and when the police pull you over for anything, you hand it to them and go, oh, I've got one of these. And why should some people get those and not others? Oh, well, it's a friend or a relative of a cop. Should the police go easy on someone because they're a friend or relative of a cop? That doesn't make sense. The deal brings an end to a lawsuit brought last year by the officer that claimed he'd been punished by his superiors because he didn't honor the cards. So someone shows him a get out of jail free card and he goes, I don't care, give me your driver's license and registration. But officer, I've got one of these. Yeah, you were speeding, but I've got one of these. Okay, but you ran a red light. What about this? It's a courtesy card. The deal brings an end to the lawsuit brought last year by the officer, saying he'd been punished by his superiors for failing to honor the cards, though the settlement itself makes no substantive changes to how the cards are used. So apparently they've said, okay, we shouldn't have punished this guy for not honoring the cards, but we're going to keep using the cards. The cards are laminated, and they typically show an image of an NYPD badge and the name of one of the city's police unions, but they're not officially recognized by the police department, but have long been treated as a perk of the job. So there's no written rule anywhere that says here's what these cards are and how they work. It's just an understanding everybody's got. Now, the city's police unions issue them to members who circulate them among those who want to signal their NYPD connections, often to get out of minor infractions such as speeding or failing to wear a seatbelt. The officer said his views about the courtesy cards have not changed. He is a 40-year-old Staten Island-based officer. He said there should be more oversight over how many of the cards are distributed to officers and better protections for those who speak out against their misuse. It's a form of corruption, he told the reporters. My approach to how I handle them is not going to change, even if some boss is going to try to punish me. I'm still going to go out there and I'm going to do exactly what I feel is right. He's going to do his job. His lawyer said he hoped the officer's efforts would inspire others in the department to step forward as whistleblowers. Officer displayed remarkable courage by standing up to the NYPD doing what was right, despite the significant risks to his career. The mayor has confirmed the settlement terms, but declined to comment further, and that's through an official. A law department spokesperson said resolving this case was best for all parties. In the lawsuit, which was filed a year ago, the officer claimed current and retired officers have access to hundreds of cards, giving them away in exchange for a discount on a meal or a home improvement job. So some guy works on your house, he cuts you some slack, and you go, hey, look, I'm an officer. Next thing you get pulled over, hand him this. Watch what happens. He also claimed he'd been reprimanded on numerous occasions for writing tickets to the friends and family because many of them had produced the courtesy card, and he said, okay, so what? The final straw came when he issued a ticket to a driver who turned out to be the friend of the NYPD's highest-ranking uniformed officer, who was a chief in the summer of 2022. This man who filed the lawsuit said he was promptly ousted from his job in the department's traffic unit and relegated to night patrol. Police department declined to comment, deferring questions to their law department. Now, the Police Benevolent Association, which is the largest police union, didn't respond to an email seeking comment. The city's police unions have long faced scrutiny over the cards, And some of the cards even pop up for sale on eBay. So if you want one of these cards, but you don't have friends or family on the police department force, you go to eBay and you buy one. Because when you hand them the card, they don't question you. You go, really? How are you related to this person now? How do you know him? Hang on, let's do a family tree here and figure this out. The man who filed the lawsuit said Tuesday he's since moved to a dayside shift, but that his efforts to advance his career have been limited by the lawsuit. I've literally applied for just about everything else since I've been put back, and they have denied me for everything. They're not very secretive as to why, and I've had supervisors tell me why I can't go anywhere. But the man's a 9-year veteran. He said he does not regret bringing the lawsuit. He said, I'm glad I didn't take the punishment and the retaliation lying down. I'm glad that I did something, and so am I. So the crazy part about this is that I suspect that this is a good example of what's happening. But I can tell you that I've known people in Michigan, for instance, who have window stickers in their cars. And the window stickers were handed out by different organizations that allegedly are supportive of law enforcement. Let's put it that way. And if you donate money to them, they'll give you this sticker. And they'll tell you, put the sticker in your car on the driver's side in the rear window. And that way, when an officer walks up to your car for whatever reason, he'll see that sticker and understand that you support law enforcement. And they'll never come right out and say they'll cut you some slack, they won't write you a ticket. But the implication is quite clear. That if you donate money to our organization and we give you the sticker will go a long way towards helping you down the road. So it's actually not even like a donation. It's an investment. Because if it gets you out of one ticket, that's more than what you're paying us right now as a way to support our organization. And I actually knew a guy who got those stickers. Every single car he had those stickers in his car. And he still got tickets. It was the weirdest thing. Now, the problem here is apparently these cards work and are accepted as part of the culture. Meaning that if you know somebody who's an NYPD officer, you can say, hey, can you get me a courtesy card? And if you get a courtesy card, you put it in your wallet right next to your driver's license, and you get pulled over, and you say, oh, will this help any? You know, my cousin is an officer. Maybe you know him or her. And say it just like that and see if it works. But obviously it's a problem. The whole point of fairness and, justice is that the laws apply equally to everybody. We know they don't. Some people get special treatment. Some people get dumped on for whatever reason. And so it shouldn't be that way, though. It should not be that way. And so the fact that these courtesy cards exist at all is a problem. And the fact that this guy got, punished for not honoring them, despite the fact that there's no rule in a rule book that says you must honor these. So he was breaking an unwritten rule. It's crazy. Now, they just cut him a check for $175, as I like to say, $175,000. And he's back on the job, but of course, he says he's still kind of being punished. And he's now viewed as not a team player. He's not a team player. But again, if your job is traffic enforcement and you see people breaking the law and you go to enforce the law and they say, oh, I've got one of these courtesy cards. So what? Show me the list of laws that you're allowed to ignore with that courtesy card. Show them to me. I'll wait. I'll give you 5 minutes. So crazy case. But like I said, I've seen variations on this in other cities with the window stickers and courtesy cards. And I didn't realize it was so bad that, you could buy them on eBay. But apparently you can. So there you go. So Philip Marcello wrote that. Jeff, thanks for sending it. Who, by the way, Jeff said, Steve, you're going to get buried with people sending you this story. I got it one time. And that's from you, Jeff, so thank you. NYPD officer lands $175,000 settlement over courtesy cards that help drivers get out of traffic stops. And he would not grant that courtesy. And they didn't like that. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. The wilderness holds answers to questions we have not yet learned to ask.